Loaves and fish. I give that phrase, I've answered that phrase to people several times recently who have been asking about how are you going to get through all the things that you have going on this year, or how have you? This last year for me has been crazy. Maybe you can relate, but I've just had a number of things, many things that have been very challenging situations, difficult ones personally, but then also very just ones that have a lot of responsibility and are big tasks. And people have said, man, how do you keep getting through that? How do you feel about this? And I just keep answering loaves and fish. And here's why. Think about when we're told in John chapter 6 that the Passover, the feast of the Jews was at hand. We're told that lifting up his eyes, so Jesus lifting up his eyes, when he saw a large crowd coming toward him, he said to Philip, "Where are we to buy bread so that these people may eat?" And then we're told that Jesus said this to test him, for he knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread would not be enough for each of them to get a little. But I love that Jesus asked Philip, where are we going to get bread for all these people, knowing full well that what's going to happen next is what we call the feeding of the 5,000. Jesus knows he's going to multiply just a few loaves of bread and some fish to feed the 5,000. When he asks Philip to do this, Jesus is not expecting Philip to be the source. He's not expecting Philip to come up with this on his own. The whole point was to drive Philip and the rest of his disciples to look to him. Jesus did not ask his disciples to feed these 5,000 and then expect them to do it themselves. Jesus said, hey, how are you going to feed them? Knowing that they would need to look to him and he would provide. And that's why I keep saying loaves and fish. These things that have been in front of me this year and are continuing to be in front of me, how are you going to get through them? Loaves and fish. If God has put this in front of me and called me to do it, I know he's not saying, now Nate, you have to figure out how to get it all done. You have to muster up the strength. That's not how God works. It's not how the gospel works. These different life experiences like this where we have to depend on Christ they're all little exercises and reminders of how the gospel really works. Well, God looks at us, he does say, be perfect, therefore as your heavenly Father is perfect. But as sinful people, God knows we are not going to be perfect. He knows, though, that he had a way and has a way for us to be made perfect before him again. And that way is that Jesus came into this world to be everything you and I were created to be but aren't. He was perfect for us. He laid down his life and died for you and rose again for you, so that through faith in him, you could be right with God. When you are baptized into Christ, you are clothed with Jesus. And Jesus is God, which means then that when God looks at you, he sees you through God. He provides what you need to be right with him. This is how your relationship with God works. And every time that you face a time where you are reminded, I don't have the capacity, I can't do it, I need to look to him. It's a little reminder, a little exercise that yes, this is how our life with God works. Loaves and fish. God doesn't look to us to do it for him. We get to look to him and trust in him always. How are we going to get through this? The same way that we're right with God, looking to him, trusting him. Just bring your loaves and fish.
Today's devotion was presented by Pastor Nate Abrahamson. Sharing and commenting on our videos is a great way to help our ministry grow and spread the good news of the gospel. Thank you for sharing our devotions.